Yeah, you triggered a lot of memories. Man, I'm looking back. It was a long road, and I forgot about one story that I had to trigger was, I went through the same moment prior to my son being born. I was a big advocate of, we're both going to go back to work. The kids are going to go into childcare, which is what we did. But when my son was born, I did have that moment where I did talk to my wife, and it was like a light switch. It switched, and I said, "Wow, it kind of, we're in this condo. We bought the condo at the right time, I'll say. We thought it was the top of the market, but it was nowhere near the top of the market at that time. And it was a two-bedroom, two-bath condo, and we used one bedroom as an office. And I had a conversation with my wife, and I said, well, maybe we can, get rid of the furniture, the office furniture, turn it into his room, and we could just, get a couple of laptops and a printer in the corner of the bedroom and in our bedroom and be done, right? Maybe we just stay here and you don't have to go back to work." And we had a discussion on it, and at the end, she wanted to continue working, which was great. There's no right or wrong answer. Let's also put it that way. When it comes to working outside the home or being a stay-at-home mom, there's all kinds of different ways to do it. We've talked about this in previous podcasts. There's a book out there called The Two Income Trap, which talks about this in depth. But there's no right or wrong, right? It's whatever you guys decide out there, right, in your own personal family. But we decided that my wife is going to continue to work. I'm going to continue to work, and we're going to go through kind of the new, the normal of nowadays, right? Not the 1950s where one parent stays home and takes care of the kids, and if you could do it, that's great, but we just weren't going to do it. So that meant that, and we did not rush out and buy a new car to accommodate the baby, but we did go and buy a new house to accommodate the baby. And the reason why was my wife's commute and my commute. It was too long from where we were to go back and forth. It was just too long of a commute. So we needed to cut that commute down by at least half. And that's what we did. So we moved to Lower Westchester from Upper Westchester and bought the house. So I'll never forget that holiday, that Christmas. We're at my in-laws at the dinner table, and the baby was going through the childcare. Like, he just started childcare, and he had snot bubbles coming out of his nose that were massive, right? Because the kids pick up everything at the childcare, right? And I remember my mother-in-law sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, it's too bad. Shelly can't stay home with the baby." And I just sort of got up and I said, "Listen, that offer was put on the table. It was rejected, and now we have this house, and no one's stopping anything, right?" And not, and when I look back at that moment, I thought that we were trapped, which we probably weren't, but in my mind, I was. And if I really look back on it, we probably could have sold the house again and bought another condo, right? Yes, there's transactional costs and stuff like that, but that's something to keep in mind, that all these decisions are two-way door decisions. So whether you're upgrading, downgrading, whatever that is, yes, there's a cost to it, but none of it is like a prison sentence. None of it's a one-way door decision where you make the decision, now you're stuck for life. That's something to keep in mind, right? Because for us, we probably, if you turn back time, if Shelly decided to quit her job, let's say 2 years later, well, we would have probably sold the house and bought a smaller house, right? Or we would have went back to a condo, right? Whatever would have made the most sense. But for us, it was a two-way door decision. So